Good morning, kids! Because of the cold winter weather, I have filmed our lesson for this week for you and your parents to watch and interact with. And it is also a new month, so we have a new theme. This month, we will be learning about and discussing the miracles of Jesus. Because most of them involve water and fish, we will be doing this through the glass of an aquarium. That's right, this month our theme is Miraculous. We'll learn all about these miracles and see how they show us how to be like Jesus, who is like the most special water ever, the living water. So get ready for a month full of fun where we'll discover cool things about the ocean and learn how to be a bit more like Jesus along the way. I hope you guys are cozy and warm because we are going to jump right into our Bible story for today. We are in the book of John and are focusing on a time when Jesus performed a miracle purely because he loved his friends and family. So if you have your Bibles, you can turn to John chapter 2. If you need time to turn to your Bibles there, you can pause the video right now. Okay, let's read John chapter 2. We're going to be talking about the story of Jesus turning water into wine. Verses 1 through 2 is where we'll start. On the third day, a wedding took place in Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. Over 2,000 years ago, there was a party going on, and not just any party. There was a wedding celebration. Raise your hand if you've ever been to a wedding. Me too! I love dancing at weddings. I always do a fun dance like this, and I love eating all of the fancy food. Weddings are a great way to celebrate two people who want to spend the rest of their lives together. As guests, we get to witness all of the joy and love on the couple's faces and on the faces of everyone there. So now that we have the picture of a wedding in our heads, let's continue reading verse 3. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." So back during the days of Jesus, weddings lasted for multiple days. That's a lot of celebrating. This particular wedding had been going on not 1 day, not 2 days, but 3 days. And Jesus was among the guests on the lists along with his mother and friends. But then something happened. The wedding started running out of wine. Now, wine was a big part of wedding festivities and also one of the main beverages. So if you ran out now, they wouldn't have enough to last them the entire length of the wedding celebrations. The guests would have been so unhappy, and the people hosting the wedding would have been so embarrassed. Jesus' mom saw what was happening. She wanted to do something, but knew that she could do nothing. So she reached out to the one person who could do something about it, her son, Jesus. Let's continue reading verses 4 and 5. "Woman, why do you involve me?" Jesus replied. "My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Mary probably didn't know exactly what Jesus would do here, but she was confident that he was going to help. But Jesus said to her that it was not yet time for him to begin showing the world who he is, that he's more than just her son, that he's God's son. Even though Jesus said this, he chose to do what she asked. There really wasn't a good reason to do anything except for love. Jesus chose to act because he loved his family and friends. So he did something nobody else could do. He did a miracle. So let's keep reading in verses 6 through 8. Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing. each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water." So they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." And they did so. Jesus told the servants to fill up 6 jars, each of them having a 20 to 30 gallon capacity. That's a lot of water. That's about as much water in some of our fish aquariums that we are going to be having in our aquarium this month. But that wasn't even the problem. The wedding was running out of wine, not water. So how were these enormous jars of water going to solve anything? If anyone was puzzled, they didn't say anything. They did as they were told, and afterwards they poured out some of the water and gave it to the master of the banquet to taste. So let's see what he has to say in verses 9 and 10. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after. The guests have had too much to drink, but you have saved the best till now." Aside from the servants who helped by filling up the containers with all the water, Jesus, his mom, and his friends were the only ones who knew what happened, and no one else at the wedding had any idea. But somehow these jars of water became known as the best wine ever. This was miraculous. The best part is Jesus was only getting started. So let's finish by reading verses 11 and 12. What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples. There they stayed for a few days. What he did here is his first miracle. Might feel small when compared to the amazing miracles he would do afterwards, but it's incredible that Jesus spent the time and revealed who he was to show his love for people who were celebrating a big day. Jesus started out as a guest at the wedding, but then played a much bigger role and saved the party. Now, this brings us to our big idea for today. Do you know how pearls are formed? It's actually pretty miraculous. An irritant, such as a small sea creature or even a grain of sand, will enter the clam. The clam then puts out a solution to cover the irritant, and the pearls grow over time. They are completely covered in the solution until they grow as shiny pearls. This reminds us of our Bible story. Even though the situation could have turned out badly, Jesus covered it all with an amazing solution. Maybe not the shiny kind, but it did make the people feel happy and loved. So let's say it all together. The big idea for today is Jesus does everything out of love. I'm going to say that one more time, okay? Say it with me. Jesus does everything out of love. Now parents, this is where you come in. Below in the comments are a list of discussion questions for you to lead with your children. Really challenge them to see what all they remember from the Bible story and about Jesus. If your kids really want a challenge, also have them answer the application questions to see how they might be able to apply the lesson and the big idea from the story to their life. Now that's all from me, but kids, remember that Jesus does everything out of love, so we should too.